Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 198 of our Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Today we're talking about how life is a mirror. And I love this topic. It has a lot to do with, number one, our relationship with ourselves, but also our relationships, all of our relationships in our life, which is what we're focusing on this month, relationship goals. Today, day 198, life is a reflection of our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our emotions. All of what we are shows up in the world and gets reflected back to us in our interactions with other people. Power of positive affirmations in our life shouldn't be underestimated. We haven't talked about affirmations as much as I think we probably will toward the rest of the year because I've kind of ignored it. It's one of those tools that I have used literally, I think, since I was a little kid. You know, incantations, as Tony Robbins calls them, and all Tony Robbins followers call them incantations as well. But it's really affirmations, I statements, I am statements that we say to ourselves about ourselves. And I like to use affirmations, which is something I think we've covered it once this year, but we'll make sure we cover it again because they are so powerful in helping us to create what it is that we want to see in the world, not only in the areas of our relationships, but all areas and aspects of our life. Excuse me, cloggy throat today. I'll sneak a drink of coffee and grab a magnifying glass, which is my most important tool these days. Life being a reflection of our thoughts, our beliefs, our behaviors, our actions, our feelings, our results. Everything we put out into the world, and I know we've talked about this, comes back to us. Now, it might not come back to us immediately like our reflection does in the mirror. I mean, we look in the mirror, we see ourselves right now, right? But the things we put out into the world, there's a delay. There's a time delay, just like in the law of attraction. There's a time delay between our thoughts and the results of those thoughts, right? Thank goodness, because otherwise everything we thought would happen immediately in the world. If we think it's chaotic now, boy, think of how chaotic a mess that would be. But knowing that and understanding that and trusting and believing that that is true, does that change the way we think, the way we behave, the way we believe, the things that we'll spend our time and energy on or dwell on or not? For me, it certainly does. Knowing that what I put out into the world, what I give to something, the energy I put into something is the energy that I'll get back out of that. I choose to pretty much put positive energy into the vast majority of the things in my life, especially my relationships, my interactions with other people, because I know that that's what comes back to me then. If you treat other people harshly, guess what? That person might not treat you harshly, but you will be treated harshly in return, and sometimes way more harshly than you have ever treated anyone in your entire life. It's why bullies are just setting themselves up for a world of hurt, right? Excuse me. Wow. I needed a little more coffee this morning before I started talking. So, do you believe, and I guess our action item today is to think about the law of attraction in your relationships. Think about cultivating gratitude and appreciation. Why? Because what we put out there, we create more of. I don't know about you, but I want more things to be grateful for. I want more things to appreciate. So I'm going to think about the things I already have to appreciate and be grateful for. We want to nurture self-love and self-compassion because how we treat ourselves is actually a reflection of how we treat other people is a reflection of actually how we treat ourselves. So if you treat other people badly, chances are you treat yourself badly as well, unless you have some personality disorder or a narcissist or something. And I don't know how to explain those people because I am not a shrink or a psychologist. We want to, how do we create more empathy and understanding our relationships? By having authentic communication and resolving conflict positively, etc. So, action item today, do you believe that your life is a reflection of your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, your behaviors, etc.? Yes or no? You might not have ever heard this before. I know I was older before I had the epiphany and the aha that, oh my gosh, what I put into things is what I get out of things. And I started to discover it and uncover it through little experiences, right? I realized that what I put into school, what I put into my education, was what I got out of it. And I'd look around and I'd see, all right, some kids were doing the minimum to get by, and they got, you know, C's and D's and graduated, but just barely. Other kids put a ton into their schoolwork and their education, and they actually got A's and B's and more out of the classes. They learned more and became a better person by putting more of themselves into something. So it was actually over years, probably decades, that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so true. And I actually learned from my dad as well. He had a favorite poem that he actually carried around with him a lot, and had a copy of it with him a lot of his life, I think. He must have discovered it when he was a young man, but it's called The Man in the Mirror, or sometimes it's The Guy in the Glass. There's different names for it. And I'm going to share that in Supersize Your Business today because I think it's such a powerful reminder of the importance of, we can fool people some of the time, we can fool all people some of the time, we can fool some people some of the time, but we can never really fool ourselves. We always know, are we being authentic? Are we being honest? Are we being moral? Are we being truthful? And we can redefine in our mind morals and values through our own filters, but at the end of the line, we all have to answer for our behaviors along the way, right? So today, action item, look in the mirror. Spend a little, oh, that's my magnifying glass. Look in the mirror of your magnifying glass. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, look yourself in the mirror. Louise Hay, I love Louise Hay and her work. She, I think, is the one that probably started, maybe she didn't come up with the idea, but she might have. I'm not sure, I didn't look it up today, but she does a lot of mirror work where you look yourself in the eye and say, I unconditionally love myself right now. And you see what comes up for you in your brain. When you say that to yourself and you look yourself in the eyes, what comes up? And if you're okay doing that, first time I did that, I burst into tears because I wasn't treating myself in a kind, loving way. I wasn't treating myself the way I should have been treating myself. So we have to remember that that's a really powerful exercise as well. So you can do that today. If you've never done any mirror work, I would say Google Louise Hay and mirror work and do one of those exercises today. Any questions about any of this? Any comments, concerns, thoughts, beliefs? Share them in the comments below. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow for day 199 of this year's Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. Have a tremendous day.